Wairarapa is home to round one of the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship. Based in picturesque Masterton, surrounded by vineyards, the rally heads to Kiwi country in Eketahuna for leg two. Leg one, held around the town of Pongaroa, had left the top three competitors struggling. Sam Murray rolled out of the rally. Richard Mason had a big spin. Hayden Padden smacked his intercooler and lost power. Nathan Thomas benefited with swept roads and took the lead until stage 4 when the going got too hot. Mark Tapper made a great return to the championship but could go no higher than second, while Stuart Taylor turned a late decision to compete into a winning way, fighting off a timing error by the officials and a late challenge from Richard Mason to be victorious by 0.9 of a second.
Stuart, time and error, you won leg one by 0.9 of a second.
Yeah, it was great news to hear. We thought there was something wrong with stage 2's time, and fortunately the organisers, when they looked back, found the error and it gave us a real slim margin to lead the rally.
So let's look forward to today, leg 2 today. You're starting 3 on the road, so that could be a handicap.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot more difficult today. They've, for whatever reason, they've moved us up, and I think we'll find the gravel a lot harder to work through. Richard's used to it. He often runs a number 1, but we are normally seated back around 10, so this can be really difficult for us.
One bonus going into today's leg is you're the championship leader at the moment.
Yeah, first time for everything. It's a great feeling. This is what we'd always hoped for, and I'd never really thought it would happen this quickly, but it's great.
Isn't that pretty as a picture? Magnificent countryside with 8 special stages to wrap up the second leg of the Trust House Racetech Rally of the Wairarapa. As my old mate Marty Rostenberg would say, let's give it the jandle. But because the service park today is based around that famous New Zealand town of Eketahuna, in the words of Fred Dagg, let's give it the gumboot. But before that, here's Emma Gilmore with the Vantage Aluminium Joinery stage preview.
Day 2 sees quite a change in the nature of the stages. A bit more flowing and open, they're really fun to drive. The car you can really work the car, it's awesome. Stage 1 of the day, Daggs Road, another fantastic stage. Starts off fast but a little bit technical, head up and down a few hills, quite a few tarmac sections as well, hard downhill braking and stuff, so you have to be just a little bit careful that you're not destroying your tyres when you've still got 2 more stages to go before service. Next stage, Barton's Line, fantastic stage again, lots of changes of rhythm in here, some really tight sections but some really fast section as well. There's a really popular spectator spot in the middle of the stage where we turn right in front of the school, and then at the very end it's super fast, 5th gear all the way, and it's a real buzz. Then head to Central Mangaoni, another cool stage. Starts off through the farmland, then go into a really tight, narrow section, again just as wide as your car, so you have to be really, really accurate through here. Open out onto a tarmac section, off the tarmac section, another fantastic bit of road, nice, fast flowing, it's just awesome. After service we head to stage 11, Quarry Cliff Road. At only 8 kilometres long, it's quite a hard stage to get into a rhythm in it. Quite narrow, you have to be a bit more accurate, can't throw the car around as much, and generally speaking there's usually quite a lot of gravel on it. Kopiko Pico is the next stage we get to drive. Haven't competed on this stage yet, so I'm really looking forward to it, as it has a really nice flow, nice fast, really interesting with we go up and through some trees, down through some trees, and then we end up down beside the river. Really interesting, so it makes it good fun to drive on. Stage 14 after service uses the end of Barton's Line in reverse, so a really fast start before we turn opposite direction and head into some forestry area. Again, great road, fun to drive on and a great way to end the day. Last stage of the day, same as day 1, North Road, short little blast, great way to finish the day.
Well, in another controversial move, the clerk of the course elected to reseed the start order.
3, 2, 1, go.
Rather than rally leader Stuart Taylor running number 1 on the road, it was the local hero, Richard Mason, who was the first up to face the thick gravel on leg 2 of the Rally of Wairarapa.
Well, certainly is thick gravel. You can see there he's struggling with the car, getting completely sideways coming into the turn. Stage records, people talking about it this morning, but with this gravel, I don't really know. He holds the stage record of 9:26.4. Let's see how he goes.
9:47.6.
Richard, number 1 on the road this morning. Has it been a problem?
No, it's been all right, other than a lot of loose gravel as usual, but, it feels good.
So you're quite happy through there?
Oh, well, yeah, as happy as we can be. I do like that stage, so that works pretty good for me. Next one's Barton's Line. Love that stage, so we're really looking forward to it.
Mark Tapper was moved from 8th on the road to 2nd. 100. And after his good performance in leg 1, how would he cope with these totally different road conditions?
4 left to 60. 7 right. 80. Can't see already.
Well, Clint, you just heard there he can't see, so not only the heavy gravel he's got to put up with, it's also the sun.
Oh, no! Look what's happened here.
Long 3 right, into 4 left minus. It's going good. Long 3 right.
Well, you heard Mark Tapper say just then it was going really good, and it was for him. He looked very good. But, Clint, I think the sun, and you see that heavy gravel on the road, the two combinations there, not good.
Great little stage this, and a real test for the drivers. First up on leg 2. Closing on to the finish. Let's see what his time is. Remember, 9:47.6 was Mason's, so he's going to be slower.
Quite a bit slower.
So a challenging start for Mark Tapper, day 2.
Mark, about 15 seconds down on Richard through there.
Yeah, we had a spin coming down the hill, and not much we can do, not much grip.
Road condition pretty bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of gravel around, but, you know, don't know about this new seating rule. I don't know where they came up with it, but...
That's the other thing, you're number 2 today.
Sorry?
That's the other problem, you're number 2 today.
Yeah, I don't quite know why. We finished 3 yesterday, but someone's obviously got a different interpretation of the rules to the competitors. But anyway.
Stuart Taylor was also struggling in these conditions, even slower. 10 minutes, 03.8.
Did you hit something?
Oh, just a big rock on the inside of a corner, yeah. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Quite slippery on the road, is it?
Yeah, a lot different than running 9th.
1 go. 4 right long 180.
So only Richard Mason so far has been able to take advantage of the conditions, but Chris West, running 4 on the road, is facing the same conditions as leg 1.
He certainly is, Clint, because he ran 4 on the road yesterday.
Yep.
Now, he's had time yesterday to set up his suspension and make this car work on these types of conditions.
6 right plus.
So I'd expect him to go through this stage like Richard Mason did and set a fairly fast time. And also, you notice the road starting to become a little bit clearer. You've got a groove in there already, Clint.
So what time can Chris West do?
He's looking pretty good round here. I think he's going to go pretty close to Richard Mason.
6 left plus.
9:50.1, just 2.5 seconds down on Mason.
Chris, second fastest so far. Richard got you by 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's that's good. You know, it's a good start for the morning. So we'll see how the day progresses. But the car feels good, and a lot of shingles still on the road. But hey, we just just have to ride past that. And I think approaching it with a bit more commitment is a secret. With a few people out there seeing what Richard was doing yesterday, and perhaps driving on the line as such is not the fastest way in this in these conditions.
Callum McInnes running 5th on the road, but he could only manage a time of 10 minutes 03.5. Hayden Patton watched his chances of a good result disappear in leg 1 when he damaged the intercooler on the Mitsubishi. But now in leg 2, the car's repaired, running 6th on the road.
7 right, and don't throw it around in that crap. 250 short, 7.
That's what you call a very experienced co-driver, Clint. The guy, you could see Hayden Patton understeering and going off the road, and John Kennard has just pulled him back in line again.
4 right minus.
Stay out of the crap.
3 late.
Great chance to try and get back some points today.
Well, he's in the right place because he's starting number 6 on the road, so he's got a bit of a swept line here already, so there's no reason why Hayden Patton won't be on the pace straight away, and he's driving quite aggressively here, Clint.
Shredding the gravel.
7 right, 5 left, 5 left line.
Through here, he's looking very fast.
Approaching the finish line.
7 left, 50, 6 left plus line. That is very, very slippery in there.
9:51.8. Wow, just 1.7 seconds down on West. That's a good start. Slippery start too. Emma Gilmore next through the stage. Her time 9 minutes 55.7. So a big improvement for her from her early departure on leg 1. Brett Martin's team changed the diff overnight. Immediate improvement. He's 6th fastest. So can this man turn the times around? Once again, Nathan Thomas, he's starting 8th on the road, perfect conditions. Loves this rally, Roger.
Absolutely loves it, and last year on this stage he was very fast. In fact, I think he was second fastest, and already in these shots you can see, Clint, that he's driving pretty quickly.
Gets off to a great start in the rally of Wairarapa, only to strike problems later on in the day. What will he do this time?
Oh, he's sideways coming in there.
Talk about committed, 9:51.8. That's equal third.
Nathan, third fastest through there, equal with Patton.
Oh, it's good and happy with that so far. Just trying to get back into the swing of things after yesterday, so we'll just carry on and keep on the road for today.
Richard was 4 seconds quicker, he won the stage.
Man, that's impressive being so far up on the road. That's good effort on his part, that's for sure.
Not everyone was having a good time on the stage, though. Brad Ailing finished with the car on fire, part of the steering rack getting too close to the exhaust.
Brad, what's happened?
Seems that gasket, the manifold to up-pipe gasket's blowing out again for some unknown reason, which puts all the heat on the inner rack end, which just melts it.
Did you have a similar problem yesterday?
Yeah, we did. So we put a new gasket in and it worked fine yesterday, and now it's done the same thing.
Will you be able to get out to the next stage?
Yeah, if we do, we'll be driving through like yesterday, so we'll lose a lot more time again, but we changed the car last night and that was awesome through there, so hopefully we can get back into it.
Next up, a Wairarapa classic and a favourite of both Richard Mason and the spectators. Great to see them out there checking out Barton's line. Here's Richard Mason's line, where he holds the record on the stage, 12 minutes 47.7.
Talk about that line. Look at these big cuts. He took a big cut back there. He's going to take another one here. But he does hold the stage record. He had a small crash here a few years ago, but since then, he's absolutely nailed. He's been the king of Barton line ever since I run the stage, since he had that small crash.
7 left. 100.
Just listen to this, Clint. He is absolutely nailed on this thing. Probably about 180, 190k.
30, 5 right. Finish. 5 right.
Well, he won't break the record, but boy, he's committed.
Good point.
12:59 for Richard Mason. Brett Martin's run through the stage. He was the second fastest, 13 minutes 14.4, 15 seconds slower than Mason. But it turned out the rest of the field were caught napping.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 30.
Well, Clint, we've been hearing a lot from Chris West this weekend about his dissatisfaction with the 1 minute gaps. So when his car failed to start on the control area of this stage, he was in no hurry to get started. Now, normally, if you have a problem, you can delay the start by 1 minute with no penalty. Unfortunately, that's not how the steward saw it. So Westy now had to live with a 1 minute penalty throughout the rally.
His actual time, 13 minutes 04.8 seconds. He was second fastest, but of course with that extra minute, that dropped him back to 8th place. Callum McInnes stormed through the stage, 13 minutes 27.3. Back on the start line now with Hayden Patton.
2 minutes?
No, you've only got 1.
Why?
Oh, is it 1 or 2 minutes?
Now, John Kennard is requesting if they too can have a 2 minute gap, not realising the controversy surrounding Chris West. Now, the marshal gives them the extra time requested, but rally headquarters, they reckon the extra minute is added to the stage time.
Well, Clint, they may appeal it, but at the moment that 1 minute sticks, a penalty for 1 minute for Patton. The reason they want the 2 minute gap, no dust, equals a fast stage time.
And look at that for speed. He would have been in the top 3, but with that extra minute, Hayden drops back to 10th overall.
4 left plus.
Mark Tapper and Stuart Taylor struggled with their road positions on the first stage, but here, Roger, looks like Tapper's going better.
He's probably driving with a lot more commitment. I don't know if the road conditions have got much better. There's still a lot of gravel on the surface there. But he's certainly looking a lot faster through here as he comes down to this junction.
Tapper, 4th fastest, hanging it out. Stuart Taylor, another 7 seconds back in 5th. So could Nathan Thomas improve in his 3rd place. Oh, he's going for it today. Remember, this stage caught him out last year.
He's certainly going for it. You can see that on that previous junction. Oh, he's just hit the bridge. He's hit the bridge. Looks like this. Let's see the car fishtailing. He has a problem, Clint.
Are we talking about deja vu?
I think so. This could be the end of Nathan Thomas.
Unbelievable.
Nathan Barton's line is a stage that's not too friendly to you.
It's like deja vu all over again from last year. Same thing, third fastest first stage, and then second stage. This year we caught a bridge as we entered it, and bent the rear end and smashed the hub and did all sorts of damage. So game over again, unfortunately. So that's it.
I thought it was a bridge you got last year as well.
No, we've got about another probably 5 k's down the road, so we reckon in about 20 years we'll finally finish that stage of competing, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Up until that point today, was it going okay?
It definitely felt good. It's always hard to gauge, but it felt nice, and we're pushing, and it was driving well, but we're just pushing a bit too hard, obviously.
Big improvement for Grant Barber, up to 6th place from 12th on the first stage. Great performances by the juniors. Sloane Cox sliding it wide, up to 7th on stage 9. And with Hayden Patton currently in 10th place, both Cox and this man, Andre Meyer, were the leading juniors. Meyer in 9th. But not good news for Emma Gilmore, who had slowed behind Nathan Thomas and lost 6 places. With that put her in 10th, just 1.2 seconds ahead of the other woman in the field, Kirsty Nelson. Stage 10, Central Mangaoni Road, just north of Ikitahuna. Short 15-kilometre blast. Once again, Richard Mason led the way on home turf. Predictably, the only changes to the top 10 came from West and Patton as they fought to claw back that 1-minute penalty. West moved up to 6th place with 3rd fastest stage time. Patton was 3 places up to 7th after posting 2nd fastest on the stage. Emma Gilmore was also on the move after being held back in the previous stage. And with Nathan Thomas now retired, she was also enjoying a dust-free run, 5th fastest, now 9th overall. Great battles in the 2-wheel drive classes continued on leg 2. Aaron Cook, once again the man to beat, fastest on stage 8 and stage 10. Held an 8.3 second lead though over Dave Strong going into the first service.
All right, minus 50.
Good roads for these 2-wheel drive cars too, Roger.
Very good flowing roads and very good road conditions for them as well. Like we said on leg 1, provided they stay on the wheel tracks. And again, Aaron Cook, he's really trying hard with this little car.
And 3 left.
Good news for Dave Strong too. He was the fastest on stage 9. At the end of stage 10, he was well in contention, 7 seconds behind Cook. Patrick Malley, 3rd in the 2-wheel drive class, leading the Ford Fiestas. Didn't have the same pace as the leading Hondas though. 22 seconds off Cook's time at the end of stage 10, but a clear lead over the other Ford Fiesta of Ben Jagger. Now he crashed out of the very first stage of his New Zealand Championship Rally debut, but the young Northland driver was now getting some much needed experience. Good to see him back on the road too. The other Cook, though, wasn't having such a good run. Reg Cook's Nissan Micra had hit something in stage 8. He was struggling to get the car back to service. In the classics, Bert Murray had dominated the morning until this on stage 10. Oh, hit the bank. He struggled out of the stage, but for the 2nd year running would retire only 400 metres, would you believe it, from the service park. Fuge had a frustrating first day, but he too was back in the rally after a day 1 crash. Now leading the classics. Close battle though with the Nissan 240 RS of Rob Wiley. The gap through the 3 stages never more than 8 seconds. Another great battle on day 2. The Escorts, the BDA of the Aussie, Greg Poole. And Lower Hutt's Doug Breeden, who rebuilt the car after a big smash on day 1. Now Poole led Doug Breeden on stages 8 and 9, but Breeden pulled ahead with a good stage time on 10 to be ahead by 15 seconds as they went into the service. So once again, it's Richard Mason looks bulletproof going into the break.
Look at Chris West and Hayden Patton, 6th and 7th, clawing their way through the field.
Aaron Cook again leading Kiwi 2.
And Ewan Fuge, the leading classic in 17th place. Richard, great morning so far. You've won 3 stages. You've got a 12-second rally lead.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We really enjoyed the stages this morning. Actually, I really enjoy all the stages today. So, I don't know, hopefully we can make a good go of it today. The car feels good. Still heaps of gravel out there, but we're just trying to plough on through it.
You take a different line or something because you're the only one that's managing to get through the gravel, yet you're one on the road.
I think that we're just attacking harder than everybody else.
Talking about attacking, Brett Martin's crew got stuck into changing the rear diff overnight, and that certainly made a difference to his performance.
Sort of yesterday we were finding it real hard. It wasn't so much as we were just coming out of the stages. We thought we'd driven good and the times weren't there, and so we changed. We've been having problems with the diff pump from the end of last season, so we changed it overnight, and it's just seemed to have made a difference. It's getting a lot of pull out of the corners now.
Also making a big pull today, Callum McInnes in third place, 54 seconds behind Mason.
Yeah, we're happy with that. It's probably a bit higher than we expected, really. Not used to running with so much gravel on the road. Dust is a real problem this morning as well.
The one guy who wasn't happy was Mark Tapper, struggling with being number 2 on the road.
Yeah, just struggling for grip this morning. The car seems to have good turn-in and reasonable braking grip, but in the mid-corner and sort of corner, when even in the high-speed corners we're really struggling. It's not very confidence-inspiring.
Well, Aaron Cook, leg 1, you won that. Off to a good start in leg 2. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well this morning. Me and Dave swapped times on the first 2 this morning, so I had a bit of a push on the last one, managed to get a bit of a gap.
7-second lead, can you build on that with the 3 more stages before the next service?
Yeah, we'll definitely try to just keep building that, and so we can sort of relax a bit in the afternoon.
But the father and daughter combination of Reg and Louise Cook weren't relaxing. Plenty of work to do to keep the Nissan Micra on the stages.
Had a bit of a tough moment in stage 2, unfortunately. Managed to find a bank with the front of the car and took a bit of it with us and bent the car a wee bit, so they're trying to get it straightened out. Getting close. Yep, we'll take a few time. We lost so much time in the air, it's just about running for the rest of the day. So we'll take some time penalties now to make sure we get the car back on the road and safe.
And playing it safe, third in Kiwi 2, Patrick Malley, still the leading Ford Fiesta though.
We're trying to continue on like yesterday, just nice and smooth, keep it going, fast as possible. We're hanging off the back of the K2 boys, but we're trying to tear strips out of the opposition.
And the road conditions, how are you finding them today?
Oh, they're beautiful roads. Yesterday was a lot of gravel on the roads, but today they're beautiful. I'm loving them.
Well, you said you ran out of talent on leg 1, so how's the talent show going on day 2?
Well, it appears to be pretty good so far. Yeah, a bit of a slow start, but it's still damn slippery. And stable.
Much work to get the Mazda ready to race again?
Not really. Yeah, it was a lot bent underneath it. The boys did a great job, And we found another problem that we didn't know about.
What was that?
Oh, just a bush under there. So we replaced the whole front end basically. And now it's as good as it ever was.
3 stages now before the next service, including a repeat stage, so things looking good for Richard Mason to hang on to his lead. Mason's record on the short sprint is 4 minutes 13.6, but that was in 2006 on swept, smooth roads.
First car now, which is Richard Mason and Sarah Mason.
Well, you can see with that shot there, they're not swept, smooth roads. A lot of gravel, and he's trying a fair bit of it around too.
Absolute crisp.
Yes, and Sarah Mason agrees. Very dusty for the rest of the field behind.
Well, these road conditions are not going to help Richard Mason at all. But like he said at the service break, he's driving with extra commitment and driving very hard.
Absolute crisp 200. Caution, finish.
Let's see how he does it.
Don't go wide. 450.
It's the warning not to go wide. 435.3, that sets the pace, but it's still slow. Mark Tapper made some changes in service. Look at that. Gravel and dust again. So what difference will that make on this stage?
Well, it's going to affect him, the gravel and dust, because there's plenty of gravel and dust around. Whatever changes he's made aren't enough to match the pace set by Richard Mason. Looks like he's going to be a bit slower.
To caution, finish, and 5 left minus, don't go wide. Small dip, 450.
And he is slower too, stopping the clock at 440.8. Stuart Taylor slightly faster, 4 minutes 38.8. So he closes in on Tapper's 4th place. Now, could Chris West fight back from that 1 minute penalty? Remember, he's down in 6th place when really he should be fighting for the lead.
18.
He certainly should be fighting for the lead, but he's running 4 on the road, and you can see now that he's got a little bit of a groove there, so being 4 on the road is a definite advantage as opposed to being 1 on the road. You can see there he's pretty focused on his driving too.
80.
Gary Cowan is
6 right.
very experienced co-driver calling the notes.
Long flat crest.
Well, let's see how he goes down towards the end of the stage here, Clint. He got a little bit sideways in that corner.
Don't go wide. 200.
He's a rally driver. He's supposed to get it sideways.
Straight as fast, mate. Straight as fast.
Talking of fast, he's quicker than Taylor but slower than Mason. And those changes to the rear diff overnight certainly paid off for Brett Martin. A real surprise. Fantastic stage time. 4 minutes, 33.9. Fastest so far. Moves him to second place in the second leg. Also pushing hard, Hayden Patton in the green machine. Trying to make up for some lost time.
120.
Well, the previous shot, we saw a bit of understeer coming into that corner, going into fairly violent oversteer. He's got to put up with the dust as well. I don't think Hayden Patton is aware that he's got a 1 minute penalty yet, Clint.
34 left, narrow.
Second fastest through the stage, 4 minutes 34.9. A second down on Martin. Violently hanging on to the Mitsubishi.
Left, 150.
Still in 7th place overall.
5 right, late in, cut. Flat, 7 left, out.
Well, that car's not handling very good at all for Hayden Patton, and quite frankly, probably the place he's in at the moment, he'll probably stay there unless they can do something dramatic with this car. He's struggling with it.
Emma Gilmore, 5th fastest, and that moved her up to 8th behind Hayden Patton. Over the next 2 stages, Mason and Martin retained 1st and 2nd place. The only real battle was the swing between 3rd and 4th for Mark Tapper and Callum McInnes.
20, 4 right, 30.
Now Tapper was ahead on stage 12 and 4th fastest through the stage.
Opens and opens, 30.
The Tapper's really going to have to pick up the speed here because Callum McInnes is right behind him. In fact, it's been a very good battle all day between these two. And just look at these fantastic roads here in the Wairarapa.
But on stage 13, McInnes was 3rd fastest. Tapper lost 6 seconds to him, so McInnes moves into 3rd overall. Tapper back to 4th. But a big question mark still hangs over the overall times of Hayden Patton and Chris West. If those stage 9 times were corrected to lose 1 minute, then both drivers would leapfrog into the top 3. As it is, though, West is now back in 5th, Patton 7th.
6 left plus 80.
West driving with major commitment. Just have a look at his eyes in those previous shots.
Meanwhile, back in Ekatahuna, it's a waiting game for the service crews. For Gareth Hayward and Chris West's crew, this is a welcome break from the pressures of a summer of motor racing where he wields a spanner for the XXX GT3 team.
With me, Gareth, you're unusual really because you work during the summer on a portion of XXX team, and come winter, or it still is summer anyway, but come winter you work on Chris West's rally car. Just tell us a little bit about the difference.
Oh, well, obviously the tarmac stuff's definitely a bit cleaner. And you're on slicks on the track and big gravel tyres here, completely different setups. You've only got 20-15 minutes here to get the car ready, where sometimes at the track you got 2-3 hours, even the whole night. So yeah, it sort of helps with that in the track, but out here it's a different story.
Pressure on in the rally situation?
Yeah, which is it is more fun. Like, it's only 20 minutes, but sometimes you can get so much done it doesn't seem like it seems like hours.
Coming up after the break, the close racing continues in all the classes as we continue with Rally Wairarapa. Welcome back to leg 2 of Rally Wairarapa. While Richard Mason was on track to take another win, plenty of interest in the class battles. Hayden Patton was, of course, the leading junior, but 3 teenagers were also having a great battle behind them. Sloane Cox held 10th through stages 11 and 12, then put in the 8th fastest time on stage 13 to climb 1 place to 9th. Now, Andre Meyer was just 15 seconds behind the 16-year-old, then closed with a faster time on stage 12, but by stage 13 had dropped back 32 seconds behind, still within striking distance though. Northwood's Kirsty Nelson seems to have lifted her game with the competition with the other teams in the field.
These last 3 drivers all under 20, and Kirsty Nelson a lot more confident this year. She's 12th overall, just 16 seconds down on Meyer at the end of stage 13.
Great battle in the 2-wheel drive class. Aaron Cook, Dave Strong, never separated by more than just 5 seconds through the 3 stages. Sensational.
sensational, all right. In fact, Strong had the upper hand on stage 11 and 12, but here, stage 13, Cook was on fire. His time, 8:55.3, was 9th fastest overall.
4 left to a 3 right, big cut.
Oh, big cut, big bump.
Big bump, all right. In fact, you could hear that car right off the ground revving.
4 right, minus 60.
Look how narrow the road is up here.
Now Strong have put on a strong performance too on stages 11 and 12. Only 13 seconds down on Richard Mason's time through stage 12. How good's that? The pace was just too hot though for Patrick Malley in the New Zealand Truth Fiesta. He was now consolidating 3rd place, a minute off the leading Kiwi 2 cars, but still well ahead of the other Ford Fiesta trophy car of Ben Jagger.
By Mike Gibson.
And with Murray retired now, Ewan Fuge was in the classic lead, but involved in a huge scrap with Rob Wiley. The gap was never more than 10 seconds, with Fuge retaining the upper hand. Wiley, though, was fastest on stage 11 and 13. The Nissan certainly seems better suited to the smoother road conditions.
And the 2 Ford Escorts were also close. Doug Breeden carrying his battered BDA into 3rd place in the class for stage 11 and 12. But on 13, Tasman Battle took a turn with Greg Paul inched ahead of Breeden by 5 seconds.
And out of the veterans, well, it was Keith Franken's turn today to be in the lead in the Corolla. Mike Cameron following it up, but not in last place. That honour went to Reg Cook, who was nursing the very sick little wee microhome just to score some important points. So, recapping the results, 2 stages to go. Richard Mason with what looks like an unassailable 40-second lead over Brett Martin.
Chris West and Hayden Patton 6th and 7th. Look at Sloane Cox, 10th place.
Aaron Cook hanging on to the class lead, only 3 seconds in front of Dave Strong now in Kiwi 2.
And Ewan Fuge and the Mazda leads the classics. Hayden, you were lying 3rd place last time we saw you. You're now down in 7th place because I've given you a minute penalty for that 2-minute gap earlier.
Well, that's news to me because we certainly didn't do anything to get a 2-minute gap, so certainly we asking questions there.
Yeah, so unfortunately, as far as the rally is concerned today, you're now down in 7th, but you're about 0.6 behind Taylor.
Yeah, well, these next 2 stages, for now, we'll just concentrate on driving fast for these next 2 and try and work further with the car and see what happens.
You said you've been struggling with the car earlier, coming better this afternoon?
No, I thought so, but I sort of started pushing that last stage and the time wasn't there, so it's back to the drawing board at home anyway, I think.
And talking about being at home, Richard Mason, the master of the Masterton roads.
I like the roads. We've got the setup good on the car, and when the setup's good, I'm happy. I can drive fairly committed.
2 stages to go in your home rally.
Looking forward to the finish.
And so too is Brett Martin, the man on the move from Taihape last year, now lives at Masterton and moving up that leaderboard.
It's sort of been quite a progressive day today. We just after changing diff pump overnight, we've changed the rear diff too just the last service and just it stopped the car from stepping out as much and just kept it in line. This seems to be a completely different car today.
Maybe a Masterton 1 too.
Yeah, for the day it'll be quite good.
And putting aside both his position on the road and his penalty, a positive Chris West.
Good run this afternoon, and just a matter of a few sweat roads and that last one in particular, and you can obviously carry a wee bit more speed, and our car feels good. We're really happy with what we've achieved today.
Serious concerns though in the Vantage team. Emma Gilmore's power steering, a major problem for them.
I think, like we discussed yesterday, that it was unsafe. And now we're about to go out again the same way. It's like, this is stupid.
So, do they carry on or do they call it quits?
Yeah, not quite sure what's happened in the last group of stages. We're quite happy this morning with how the car was going, and just power steering's playing up now. They haven't got any power steering in the last 2 stages, so hopefully the boys will find something to fix. So we're sort of scratching our heads a little bit.
You'd be struggling on the wheel with that?
Yeah, especially in the slow stuff. And the fast stuff, you can get the car moving a little bit, it's not so bad. But, I'm still a little bit nervous after yesterday where the steering just failed and we went into a bank. So, I'm probably just being a little bit cautious with it.
Well, Jason, what's the gap between you guys and Dave Strong at this stage?
I think we're down to about 3 seconds by my count, so it's going to come right down to the wire for today.
You've got, a narrow 3-second lead with 2 stages to go?
Yep, yeah, we started fast this morning. We pulled out a 7-second lead and Dave pulled that right back, so we're just chipping away at each other right down to this, so really looking forward to the last couple of stages. It'll be good.
It's all on, okay? It's getting quite exciting out there, actually. There's a couple of old boys here. These young fellas are pushing us pretty hard. It's amazing what you can dig out when you really need to. We're both digging deep at the moment, and we're trading times. And with 2 stages to go, it's on for young and old.
Yesterday it's certainly been about close battles. The last 2 stages were short, so the gains would be small. But that didn't stop Dave Strong and Aaron Cook. Great battle in Kiwi 2. What a great fight. Strong drew first blood on stage 14, 4.3 seconds faster, moving ahead of Cook by 0.4 seconds. He was 8th fastest on the final stage with 6 minutes 46.5.
So Aaron Cook would need to be just 1 second faster on the stage to beat Strong. His time though 6:46.9 slower. He loses the battle by only 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, we went into the last stage. I thought we might have been a second up, but you can't tell with all these points to add up, so it was 100%, absolutely 100% flat out.
And the key was what, clawing back a couple of seconds on the stage, the second to last stage, because you had that, 3-second deficit after the service?
Yeah, and traditionally Aaron goes really well on that. It's a stage I don't like for some reason, and he can often take 5 or 6 seconds out of me, so we went 25 seconds faster than this morning, so we took a lot of chances.
Patrick Malley cruised home to be 3rd in the Kiwi 2 class, but 1st in the Ford Fiesta Trophy, 2 minutes 20 ahead of Ben Jagger. It had been a tough debut for Jagger, but the youngster at least got to the finish. In the classics, Ewan Fuge held on throughout the last 2 stages, but boy, that was close too.
Yes, close, 4.9 seconds a margin to Rob Wiley. This has been one of the classic battles, Clint.
And the Aussies struck back with Poole taking 3rd in the class. Experience counts in rallying, and it was probably inexperience which saw our teenage drivers relax on the final 2 stages. Kirsty Nelson dropping 2 places, 14th overall, when she was overtaken by the 2-wheel drives of Cook and Strong. In 11th place, Andre Meyer lost touch with his battle with Sloane Cox, 35 seconds adrift. Grant Barber split the 2 youngsters in 10th place. But another good result nonetheless for Sloane Cox, the 16-year-old from Rotorua's Evo 6. Emma Gilmore had changed the power steering, came home in 8th after a difficult weekend. Road positions went against Stuart Taylor today, 7th place in the end, just 2.5 seconds ahead of Gilmore. Callum McInnes lost out on the other top 5 position when Hayden Patton was given back that minute from stage 9, shuffling all but Mason down a place. The biggest battle in the top 5 was Tapper versus West. West had fought back from his penalty, which wasn't reversed by the stewards. At the end of 14, he was threatening Tapper, but Tapper held forth by 0.2 of a second. His time through the final stage, 6 minutes 32.7.
So another nail-biting finish for West. He must beat Tapper on the final stage by 0.3 of a second to claim the place.
3 left. 2, 4 right plus, 30, short 5 right plus, into 5 left plus long, Carmack 30.
Look at the eyes
right
as he approaches the finish. Can Westy do it?
5 left plus, Titans 5 right plus, 30.
Keep your foot down, Westy. Can
Right
Westy
plus
do it?
Long, and 7 left minus 100.
Yep. 6:32, he's done it.
Fantastic rallying. Tough for Brett Martin too after thinking he was second. He gets pipped by Hayden Patton's reshuffle into 3rd place. Still a great effort though from leg 1.
4 right plus line opens long. I said don't go in the ditch. 4 right plus line.
What a day for Hayden Patton though. Not really knowing what sort of day would turn out, but 2nd place so valuable in the points after a lacklustre leg 1 result.
Don't go wide.
And a lot of coaching there from John Kennard as well.
Short 5 right.
And what a day for this man, Richard Mason. Another leg win on Rally Wairarapa. And another great start to the New Zealand Championship.
I got a hit.
Richard, well done. You won leg 2 and overall on the Marsden Rally. You're the quickest.
Oh, it's awesome, you know. We needed to win here in Marsden to get a good start to our championship, and unfortunately we got pipped at the post yesterday, but, you know, we're stoked. This is what we needed.
Today you totally dominated.
I love the roads around here, and it was really difficult with the deep gravel, but we tried real hard and it was awesome. Paid off.
So Richard Mason wins the second leg of the rally from Hayden Paddon, who wins his appeal to move into second place. Brett Martin third.
Leg 1 winner Stuart Taylor 7th and rookie Sloane Cox 9th.
Talking of great finishes, check that out. Dave Strong and Aaron Cook, only 0.8 seconds between the two and Kiwi 2.
Close in the classic, Ewan Fuge ahead of Rob Wiley.
So the overall winner combining the two legs is Richard Mason.
Richard, well done today, dominating really. You won the rally in the canter.
Yeah, thank you very much. We couldn't have done it without the awesome support from B&T and all our guys that worked great nights and doing a good job for us. So, that's an awesome feeling.
Just tell us a little bit about it, because on the stages you had the heavy gravel build-up, but it didn't really affect you.
It certainly did yesterday. And in the morning, we thought we started off with a really good setup on the car, and it was for a little bit more harder surface, and we really had to adjust the car to get the best out of all that heavy gravel, and it took me most of the day yesterday to get it right, and today it's been good on that.
Yeah, it's been an interesting rally. I thought coming into this rally I was well prepared for it and got my head around the left-hand drive thing, and I think I did. It's just more getting time in the car with being a completely different car effectively, and just getting some miles in it, and hopefully the pace will pick up with time.
Championship-wise, you end up with 39 points, but Richard Mason's got 60-odd.
Yeah, it's good that we got some points on the board. It's definitely not all over yet, and we didn't score overly well here last year either, so it's maximum attack for the next 5 and claw back those points to Richard. Well, that's the goal anyway.
Brett, fantastic drive. You ended up third today.
Yeah, definitely a lot better than yesterday. We're a lot happier today, and I certainly think if we can work on what we've got now, and we can look forward to the next rounds.
Certainly looked like in the afternoon you won a stage as well. Certainly looked like you got your confidence back.
Yeah, it just took a little bit of time yesterday, I guess. But yeah, saying that, if we had the car running right yesterday, it could have been a different story, but it wasn't the case, and today was probably a better day.
Stuart, not a bad weekend really, considering you weren't even going to do the championship, but with your 7th place today, the victory yesterday, 48 points, you're second in the championship.
That's fantastic. I'm really pleased. Like you said, we didn't really know what we were going to do this year, and we thought we'd take quite a relaxed approach to this weekend. Got a few changes on the car that we tried out, and we've had a really smooth run except for a few troubles this morning.
Today you struggled a little bit with the heavy gravel on the road?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I mean, I haven't experienced much of that, and it is quite a different driving style you need to adopt. You just don't have the grip in the corners, you can't lean the car the same, and I just had to do my best, and I was dropping quite a bit of time, but I mean, we tried, and with the time we lost this morning, I think 7th's, all right.
Well, there you go, the champagne finish for the classics to wrap up the Trust House Racetech Rally of Wairarapa. Fantastic weather over the 2 days and a fantastic finish. Once again, the hometown hero, Richard Mason, unbeatable here, mate.
Basically unbeatable. He's won it virtually every year. But let's remember, Stuart Taylor in the first round, he won it by 0.9 of a second over Richard Mason. It's been a great weekend for both of those two.
What about the return of guys like Westy and Mark Tapper back in those Evos?
It's fantastic to have Mark Tapper here. His driving style is great to watch. And Westy, he's only going to get quicker as the season goes on.
And I've got to say, the finishes in the K2 class and also the classics down to seconds for the last stage. Brilliant way to finish the second leg of the Rally of Wairarapa, and it can only get better as we look ahead to the Rally of Otago.
It certainly can. And just talking about the Kiwi 2, look at Dave Strong. He won leg 2. Aaron Cook won leg 1. So a big battle there. So the next round at Otago is going to be all on.
So there you have. That's the second leg from the Trust House Racetech Rally of Wairarapa. Make sure you join us once again, and the action continues on the Vantage Aluminium Joinery New Zealand Rally Championship as we head south and all roads head to the Rally of Otago.
This is how it all finished up points-wise once those penalty times have been sorted out. Richard and Sarah Mason very much at home. And wasn't that very good advice from co-driver John Kennard to Hayden Paddon? I said, don't go in the ditch. Mason with a 14-point lead after the opening round from Stuart Taylor, who'd done so well on day one. Paddon came away third, 3 points ahead of Mark Tapper, 1 point back to Chris West. Richard and Sarah Mason making light of the fact that they were first away in that heavy gravel. They have, as you would expect, been at the forefront of round 2 of the National Rally Championship in Otago this weekend, along with Hayden Padden. And day 1 of that event is highlighted next week on Powerbuilt Tools Motorsport.